Good morning, Grinders. Welcome to the DFS pregame show here on RotoGrinders. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. BlenderEd, Blender HD, if you want to follow me on Twitter. And it's Tuesday, September 6th. Oh, my God, we're getting close to NFL. It's the first slate of the NFL season is upon us. I've been gone for 5 days. Right? I was gone last week, went up to Chicago, had some fun time, some wrestling events, whatever. See you guys in the chat. Hey, Wataz. The Wataz is the new Suki Singh here even earlier and earlier. I don't know. I mean, he may have shown up yesterday. Who the hell knows? AC 2674, changing his name to Random Joe, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Good morning, David Buchanan, Matt Mears. Devin's in the chat this morning. He woke up early. It's a special day. Typically it's Steve or it's Eli. Eli hasn't been here in a while, but you get to say hi to Devin in the chat. We got tons of content. NFL's here, and it's just nonstop NFL. It's NFL Showdown NFL. Afternoon slate NFL. Is it the NFL? We're going to go over the lineup HQ and yes, we're going to do that in NFL. We're going to do NFL. By the 8th week, we're going to want to shoot ourselves. All NFL all the time. But hey, that's the most popular sport. And also, for the people that are tuning in, I mean, most of you are smart people, right? Even the podcast people are probably smart, right? I know there's probably several thousand people that listen to the audio feed. They don't even show up in the morning. NFL is the softest contests in DFS, right? Because it has the most casual, most recreational participation, especially in the beginning, especially the first month. So I don't mind talking about NFL because we want to make that money, right? We want to beat the weaker players, right? I hope you're not some of the weaker players in the chat, right? DFIC is here. Wataz. Oh, okay. Oh, he's alive. Typically, he only says good morning and then nothing else. Okay, he's been waiting days. I don't know, but it's NFL all the time. We got a showdown slate coming up on Thursday. That's the first game of the season. Thursday night football. So probably on Thursday, talk about showdowns, right? That's kind of the way things are going to be planned out. For the foreseeable future through December, I guess, right? So it'd be Mondays with McCool. Okay, so I'll just run it down for you, right? Mondays with McCool. It'll pretty much be a review of that past Sunday slate. So it's be me and James telling mistakes were made. Right? Because NFL is still high variance, and reviewing what happened on Sunday and the lineups and going through lineup HQ and results DB and stuff like that. And then Thursdays we'll talk about the showdown slate, right? On Thursdays, Tuesdays we could review the Monday showdown slate and talk about other stuff. Wednesdays are kind of like grab bag. Who the hell knows, right? We'll make some builds. Friday will still be MMA. Okay, so Friday it's going to be an MMA show, right? But for me, in particular, in addition to this show, I will be also doing a 6 p.m. Eastern Sunday, kind of semi-sweat show, I guess. Me and Dean. So if you want to tune in, hang out. It's more like a hangout show. It's like, it's the last hour of games. Probably all my lineups are dead. So what's the point? What does it matter anymore, right? Most likely, maybe one out of the two out of the weeks, maybe there's something to actually sweat. But most of the time, all my lineups are going to be dead by then, or at least dead for first. Maybe I'm sweating a min cash or something like that. So if you want to tune in Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern on Twitter, so it's a Twitter space, so it won't be on YouTube. And then I'm also doing a premium show, right? The Advanced Sports Analytics show is gone. That doesn't exist anymore, right? Stewart went somewhere. Brandon is whatever. He's in the metaverse somewhere. I have no idea. So that show doesn't exist anymore. I hosted that show for the past 2 years. So that show is now converted into, it's still like a game stack show, but me and Tuttle, right? Mr. Tuttle 05, Dan Gasper, we're going to be doing that on Fridays. And that's only for premium members. So you got to be a RotoGrinders premium subscriber, whether it be combo or just NFL. If you're just doing NFL, if you subscribe now for just NFL content, you'll get it for 365 days. So essentially it just rolls over like that. So if you're going to play next year, it'll go towards that anyway. So feel free to go to rotogrinders.com/premium, sign up for that. Click on the link in the description. The combo premium package, I believe, still you get a $10 discount on your first month. So if you want to play MMA, if you want to play NBA is coming up. You still got the end of the MLB season. So sign up for that. You get my premium show there. And then obviously I got the Discord, the Blenders Game Theory channel in Discord. So you could always find me there, ask me anything, and I'll be doing 2 or 3 private group coaching sessions every month that only premium members have access to. And also I'll show up on the showdown shows at night. So like Monday or Thursday Night Football, I'll probably be on one of the 2 of the the lead up to live. I don't even know what we call it. Grinders Live, is it called that? I don't know. It's typically called Showdown Live or something like that. So it'll be me and Will or me and Cards or typically something like that. So you'll see me. You'll see plenty of me. And then obviously in the morning, I'm here all the time. So how much more can you see of me? I don't know. I get sick of me. I recorded the Theory of Daily Fantasy Sports for Advanced Players, which we could put up on the screen. I'm sick of my own voice, right? But if you want more of my own voice, if you want to make money, if you want to be profitable during NFL season, I know it's a small sample size, though, right? You don't get many slates. You go to theoryofdfs.com. The new For Advanced Players guide is out. It's about 6 hours of audio. But in addition, you get custom Excel tools. Okay, so there, and James is James has already updated them like 14 times, it seems like already. Fixing bugs, right? Someone had some outlier case, making it easier for people. But you'll get these tools also, and they work hand in hand. This is the beautiful part. They work hand in hand with Lineup HQ. So if you're using Lineup HQ, that this is a breeze because all the columns match. So you can just cut and paste projections. You can cut and paste lineups all you want, and you can play around with all these tools. And I'll on the morning show, I'll be showing a lot of that stuff. That's how I'm building my lineups now. James made the tools that I wanted. It just so happens that a lot of other you could get them also, right? All the stuff that I wanted to use in Excel that I would do myself, but be really bad at it or really inefficient, and things would break all the time. And Luis Garcia would rear his ugly head, right? And not Will Smith anymore, but like the double name, the names don't match. Oh God, right? I had to fix that manually, and then I'm just okay. By that time, why am I bothering with this? So that fixes everything. So James made these tools. You can see what lineups other people are building, right? We could do some reconnaissance, some spying, not really spying. We're just gonna, recreate what the field would look like, and you could see how to build plus EV lineups based on that. So if you want to go to theoryofdfs.com, purchase that. Let me teach you. I can't answer any more questions, right? I'm going to, but if you listen to all 6 hours of that course and you have the tools, I don't know what else I could tell you. I don't know what else there is. I don't know. It's everything. It's like I feel like there's no question that that cannot be answered by this course. So go to theoryofdfs.com. Yes, I know. Devin says does. Yeah, the discount code is still available for the combo premium. $10 off your first month of RG. I'm the only one that mentions it. Not all the other hosts. No, they don't want you to get $10 off. They never mention that. I think it pops up anyway. I don't think you have to mention it, but it's a selling point. Why not? Why not get $10 off? Greg Heller's in chat. Got my advanced theory of DFS this weekend. Can't wait to dig in. Right, dig in before the first slate. This course is meant to be listened to multiple times. Okay, you listen to the whole thing, then you play. You play for a week or 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, and then you come back and go, am I building lineups too much in this end or not considering that? And then you reread it, or listen to it again, right? That's what it's meant for. But the main thing that you need, even if you're going to use the tools in that course, is you're gonna need some type of like projections. You're gonna need ownership. The tools don't work without you inputting something. I mean, you could just make them up. You're right. Bang your head against the keyboard. Okay, Joe Mixon, 64.81. Okay, if that's the projection, so be it. That's the incorrect projection. It's probably way off, but you can do it. You can bang your head against the keyboard and use that as projections. But I use primarily the Blitz projections, which I have loaded up here in Lineup HQ. And the Lineup HQ you could use as a tool, even if you're playing one lineup, even if you're playing 3 lineups. This is not just, I'm not playing 150 lineups. I don't need Lineup HQ. It's like, dude, you could use it as a research tool. I use it as a research tool more than I use it as a lineup building tool. Where you can see what players come together more often than others, what lineups look like, compare them to one another, right? You could just use that and then pick the 3 that you want to play. Right. Well, I want to play one of this guy, and I want to play one of that stack. I want to play the Arizona game, and there you go. You go like there. DFix says you really need both versions. I've been going back and forth. Yes, that the original theory of DFS, right? The theory of daily fantasy sports, the fundamentals masterclass. I would suggest you get. It's 15 hours because you need to explain that course is meant for someone that has just pretty much just picked up DFS. I had to dabbled in it a little. The advanced course is for someone that's been playing a while. If you're watching the show, you probably played a while. So you could skip directly to the advanced course, but understand that it assumes that you already know the basic information from the first one. So you could get by, I guess. It depends on what you want. Okay. But lineup HQ, to me, RotoGrinders premium subscription is worth this tool just in and of itself, right? Yeah, sure. We're gonna have like 7 million pieces of premium content for NFL, right? We have Gridiron IQ. You could research, you could spend, your eyes will bleed. The amount of stats and everything that you could research on all the NFL teams. We got expert surveys. We got the Slate IQ, which is that's good for the showdowns with the simulations or everything. We got so much. You can click on the NFL tab, and it's just gonna be by Saturday. It's like you almost can't consume that much information. There's gonna be like 700 shows, right? 8,000 pieces of content, and some you may find more valuable than others. Okay, so use those. So, but we give them all to you. It's all available to you. But the number one thing to me is lineup HQ, right? You get projections, whether it be the RG NFL projections or Cardi's Blitz projections. You get the ownership, right? You get obviously we have other columns in here, right? You see the player props and everything, kind of like metrics and weather and whatever. You know me, all I need is just a number, right? Just give me the median, the floor, the ceiling. Give me the ownership. I don't need anything else. I don't need anything else. Then you can build lineups, right? You can research lineups, right? If you want to use, okay, what's the optimal based on all of this? Okay, let me press the button. There you go, right? Based on your current player pool and the current projections, this would be like the top median projection lineup, right? Here's 144. My computer's acting very slow today. Maybe my browser. Did my browser freeze? I have no idea. Well, that's not a good selling point for a lineup HQ. The fact that it's frozen. Let me wait. Is it doing a lot of computations? I think it's more the fact that I have StreamYard open. So let me reload it again. Right, because I have a lot of other stuff open. I have way too much stuff. Maybe I should close some of the stuff. Right? Is it going to totally break? Okay, no. Okay, let's load it up again. Load up MLB. Is MLB going to be good? Okay. Like I said, this has nothing to do with lineup HQ. It has more to do with the fact that I have like 700 things open currently. I already closed like 2 or 3 things, and hopefully that'll help. So I can't restart the browser. The stream ends because I'm on the StreamYard. So let's go to NFL. So this is the showdown slate. We'll load up the main slate because showdown's kind of its own animal. So I just want to show off the tool, right? I'm just showing you what you can do with lineup HQ. Even if just let's see, I'm going to build some lineups here, but lineups here. I put in 20 lineups, right? To build 20 lineups. Here's I'm not even using the blitz projection. Let's just use the RG projections. Does it matter? No. Okay. So like in build rules, you'll see the normal build rules that you would see in most of the other sports, right? Build rules are build rules. You get the range of outcome sliders, the randomness sliders, but of course we break them down for each position. So if you want more randomness, more variance on different positions, whether or not you want linear randomness or true range randomness. True range randomness is based on the individual players' floors and ceilings. I would suggest that, right? Unless you're just looking for diversification, then you just use linear randomness. It's just like, I don't really care about their distribution. I just don't want to have 98% of this one guy in like my 100 lineups. So you add some linear randomness just to have a little bit different, right? So you get all of those. You get team land. You could do it on the team level, right? So you don't have to care about like tight end, wide receiver, or running back. It's like the team moves as a whole. Then you obviously have number of lineups to produce, number of unique players, right? For diversification, 1, 2, 3, 4, 18, probably not 18. And then obviously max exposures. If you want to have, I don't want to have any more than one of, 20% of one quarterback, right? You could use this as a global setting instead of having to just do it one by one. If you need to, you don't need to use all these settings, but if you need it, right? And obviously salary ranges, what's your minimum, what's your maximum, Flex exposure. If you I only want running back in the flex. There, 100% done. Right? You don't have to worry about it. Then you have limit one. What? Okay. What this is that if there's a player that's not in a stack, right? It's called a pairing rule. So if you click that box, limit one running back, wide receiver, tight end from the same team unless part of a team game stack. So don't play 2 wide receivers from a team that you don't have a quarterback from, right? Which if you want to use it, hey, you could still use 2 wide receivers from the same team without a quarterback. But obviously, from a correlation standpoint, if 2 wide receivers have really big games, most likely the quarterback also had a really big game, right? So most likely, if the stack doesn't come in, maybe one of the players in the stack does well. So you wouldn't want 2 from the same team without the quarterback in it. So if you want to use that pairing rule, there we got a checkbox for you. Then obviously we have the minimum and maximum total lineup ownership, right? So once I use this for once I find okay, well I'm unique enough. I go down the list and I'm like, okay, 168 or whatever the hell that number is. Okay, I don't want any lineup above it. So let me just cut it off right there. There may be a minimum, right? A minimum where the projection is so bad. It's like, okay, I need a minimum ownership of whatever that is, 62, whatever it happened to be. Right? And then everything else here. Max offense versus defense. All the normal build rules that you'd find in lineup HQ. We also have custom settings. If you want to add a custom rule, give lineups at least to have one running back that has X, whatever. You can build as many, custom rules you want into it. Players per team. If you never needed to use this is more probably for showdown than anything else. I don't want to have more than one Packer. Okay. If it at least gives you a global setting so you don't have to worry about the individual players if you need to use these. Remember, lineup HQ is not something that's going to tell you what to play. All it's doing is what lineups do you want to build? And you tell me, right? So it allows you to input, based on what lineups you want to play and get those as easy as possible. So if you don't want to play any Giants, you just put max Giants in 0. You won't get any Giants. You could also X out all the Giants. You could do that as well, right? But maybe it's easier. Just go 0. You don't have to worry about excluding players. So there could be multiple ways of accomplishing the same things in lineup HQ. Then we obviously have the player groups that you can use, right? We also have ones that that fill in for you, right? That team groups, opponent player groups, right? But groups are just like you normally see. So for instance, a group that you could use is let's say I barely know who's on what team anymore. Right. Let's go to just any one of the teams. Let's go to Kansas City, right? That game's going to be popular. The Chiefs Cardinals game. Right? So we want to make it that, let's say in Marcus Valdez-Scantling, for instance. Let's start this by RGB. So we got the Chiefs here. So maybe Kelsey and Juju, something that may be popular would be Mahomes, Kelsey, Juju. That would be a KC stack. Then you have Valdez. Maybe you could throw Valdez-Scantling in there. Maybe it's the type of thing that you don't want Juju and Valdez-Scantling together. You don't want 2 wide receivers. You want something else, or you want a run back. Let's say we want to make it Arizona. Okay, here, perfect example. Let's say Rondell Moore. You always want to make your KC stacks have a run back. Now we'll show some stack configurations that you could do that in also. But let's say there's certain players you don't want in run backs, or you do want in run backs. So maybe you go, okay, if I have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and I'm just making up a situation. If you wanted that anytime I have Marcus Valdez-Scantling in a lineup, right, I want a player from the other side of the game, right? So Valdez-Scantling, and then you want either, who was that, Marquise Brown or Rondell Moore, but not both of them. There's Rondell Moore. You could do something like this. So min players 1, max players 1. So any Valdez-Scantling lineup will have Brown or Moore in it, right? You could use this with quarterbacks, players that you only appear in stacks. That's what you would do here. So for instance, let's say Marcus Valdez-Scantling, you only want in stacks. So you don't want as a one-off. I'm not saying why you would want that. I'm just making up an example. So you can put in both quarterbacks right here, right? You can put in Mahomes and Murray. You go, okay, if Marquez Valdez-Scantling is in a lineup, must have minimum one, max one, of Mahomes or Murray. So basically, Valdez-Scantling will appear in Mahomes stacks or as the run back in Murray stacks, but won't appear as a one-off anywhere else. So obviously, the usage of this, you could think of a million different ways to do this if you wanted to. So you could force people in. Oh, this guy has to be in stacks. This guy doesn't have to be in stacks. If I'm playing this quarterback, like let's say on the Chiefs, let's say you leave all the Chiefs, like, and you don't exclude anything for whatever reason. Like, will you get McCole, Hardman, Valdez-Scantling stacks instead of having Kelsey or Juju in it? It could. It's possible. Mahomes, Hardman, Sky Moore, or something like that. And you're like, no, I want to make sure that all of my Mahomes stacks, even though they're double stacks, have either Kelsey or Juju in it. You just want to make sure about that. So you could do that with groups. If you want to make sure, right? So I could create a group. I could put in Mahomes, right? And then put in Kelsey, Juju, right? And use min 1, max 2. So this is saying in any lineup that has Patrick Mahomes, need to have a minimum of 1, a maximum of 2 of Kelsey or Juju, which means all of your Mahomes stacks will have either one or both of them in it and not have like the third and fourth receiver or a running back or whatever way you want to configure that. So you could use groups like this. Typically, I could create 20 groups for a slate, depending on the teams that I'm playing, and go, no, make sure to have this. Make sure to have that. Now, most likely, based on projection, you're probably not going to get Patrick Mahomes, Sky Moore, McCole Hardman as the 3-man because they don't project. The other 2 players don't project that well. So you're most likely not going to get them anyway. But that's why if you were in that situation where it's like, oh, no, I'm getting a lot of, the 2 wide receivers they're paired with are like the 2 crap wide receivers. It's like, I want to make sure one of the key wide receivers are in there. Then you could use a group like that. And then you don't have to worry about it anymore. Okay? So that's player groups. But you could also do that in the stacks page, which is what I use primarily. Okay? So, like, you could add up to 3 stacks in one lineup. Stacks, it just means correlations. Stack doesn't necessarily mean the quarterback. The only thing that absolutely means the quarterback is the primary game stack. So I could add, let's say I want to build lineups that have 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers from the same team, and then 1 run back. And the run back could be or let's say I want a tight end also, right? So I want wide receiver, tight end, 1 quarterback, 2 wide receiver tight ends, and then anyone from the other team. Right? So I'm getting 3 plus 1. How many percentage of your lineups do you want to build those in? Well, you could choose that. Very similar to baseball. What percentage of 5, 2, 1 stacks do you want? What percentage of 5, 4, 3 stacks do you want? So you could have them in all of your lineups. You could have them in 50% of your lineups, right? You could also choose to apply them only to certain teams. So maybe for instance, maybe you'll have 80% of this type of stack, and then you create another primary stack that you can have 20% of, right? And maybe this one includes the running back, right? And then maybe there's some teams that have pass-catching running backs. Are you playing the Panthers? Maybe you have the pass-catching running back in it. So maybe in this one, you go, okay, I want one wide receiver. This one can include a running back in there, right? And this one has a run back, or ones that don't have run backs, right? You could create multiple primary types of stacks. And then you would check the boxes of all the teams that you don't mind having the running back of the team in the stack. So that's a way that you could use primary stacks like this. So let's say I set it up this way. Let's do the easy way. 100% of lineups like this. We're just going to build some dummy lineups. Well, in addition to this, we could also incorporate a second stack into this lineup. So we could play 2 players from opposite sides of the game, right? Wide receiver, tight end, wide receiver, tight end, right? 1-1, 2 sides of a game. Game shoots out. One guy does well, the other guy does well, right? We could even add a third stack, a third correlation. Like a popular one that people use, a running back and defense. So you go, okay, I want running back, DST. Maybe 100%. I mean, I don't know if that you'll be able to fit that in. And of course, you could select the teams if you want, and you could add other third game stacks. I'm just showing you like just the basic thing of what you could do. So if we wanted to build 20 lineups right now, just purely based on projection, right? I've done nothing else, right? Unique players 1, right? So it's just going to be the best 20 that fit into this configuration of a 3+1 primary stack plus a secondary correlation 1-to-1, and a third correlation of a running back defense. So if I wanted to build 20 lineups like that, there you go. Done. Let's go. Give it to me. It would take a little bit longer to fill that correlation in. It should be going. Okay, there we go. Okay. Remember, the more and more settings and stuff that you put into Lineup HQ, the little bit slower it takes to build lineups. If you just want to build like quick, don't care about any correlation, don't care about nothing like that, you got it. Once you start adding things, don't try to do this at 12:58 Eastern. Well, finally, I got everything. Let me get my 150 lineups. No, it's going to take longer than 2 minutes with your 7 million settings in there. Eventually, I wouldn't suggest you build lineups that way anyway. You shouldn't be just going like, how do I put all the settings in first and then see what the lineups come out? It's more of the fact of you put some of them in, you spit out lineups, and you go, okay, now add some more settings, tweak it more. So you'll be pressing that build button like 50 times. So based on this configuration, we got a lot of Jahan Dotson. I need to figure out who these players are, right? Remember me. I'm not a player person. Oh, who's better than that player? I don't know. I can go by the numbers. All I'm trying to do is organize the numbers better than other people. That's all. That's how I play DFS. So right here we got a lot of DeAndre Swift and the Lions. So that's what you see, one correlation here, right? We got the Murray, Moore, Marquise Brown, Travis Kelce run back, and then we got who's playing the Kirk and Dotson? Or is it the Panthers? Is it the Panthers Commanders? Is that who's playing? I don't even know. No, the Panthers are playing the Browns. The Panthers, who's playing the Commanders? I can't believe I was calling them the Commanders. Washington. Where's Washington? Oh, Jacksonville. So who's in this lineup that's from Jacksonville? Oh, Christian Kirk's on Jacksonville now. Okay, this is what I need. This is what I need to do. I'm looking through this and going, Christian Kirk. I'm getting another Cardinals wide receiver. No, I'm not. I don't even know who Jahan Dotson is at all. Literally first time I've seen the name. I've not been playing best ball, obviously. So you can see here, it'll give you all the combinations that have those 3 correlations: the primary stack 3+1, the secondary stack 1+1, and the running back defense. They may not want that in all of your lineups, but I mean, you tweak that the way that you want to tweak it. Right? And this is only unique player 1, so you're just going to get the top line, right? We're getting Arizona, Kansas City, and like all of our lineups, right? If we take a look at quarterback, right, Murray, Mahomes, that's it, right? If we just base it on median projection. So imagine building 100 lineups like this, 150, 300. You can build up to 300 in Lineup HQ. And typically the way I play is that I build way too many lineups and then I trim it down from there. So I'm not just looking for like the best in the median projection. It's like, no. I want the right bands of equity and bands of risk, which I talk about in Portfolio Dynamics in the theory of DFS.com. So it's not just like, just slam it down and just jut them in. Like they all have to be geared around the contest that you're playing. So a lot of times I'm building I'm not only building 300, I'm typically building 1,500. Lineup HQ can make up to 1,500, can save 1,500 lineups at once. It can only build 300 at a time, but it can only have 1,500 lineups in its, in the cache or whatever the hell it is. And what you could do, you could make more than that. You could just export all of those, throw them into Excel, and then build another 1,500 if you want. Right? 5 builds of 300 each. And then you can throw that in Excel. You could do that. You could do that as many times as you want. So a lot of times I'm building 300 or more and then weeding out the ones that are from there based on projection and ownership. So different configurations. So it's not just a matter of, Like, oh, I want 100% of this. I want 50% of that. I want 50%. No, a lot of times I will look at a configuration, a stack configuration, and build 300 lineups with some diversity, probably like 2 unique players or something like that, and then build 300 that looked like that. And then I'll do a different stack configuration and then build 300 that look like that. Right? So I don't have to worry about like 100% of this and 50% of that. Just building a whole ton of stuff. Maybe I cap for diversity, I cap quarterbacks. So it's like, let me make sure to get no more than 20% of a quarterback so I don't have like 90% of my lineups are the same stack. Right? So a little bit of diversity. And then you take all the lineups that you build and then you weed it down from there. Even if you're playing 3 lineups. Right? You could 1,500 lineups. We could find 300 lineups. Right? You can find 3 lineups based on this. I mean, imagine doing that. Imagine like taking, like I'll show you. I'll even show you in, I wasn't planning on bringing this up, but I will. To show how to use the lineup HQ and the theory of DFS tools together. So where is this? Okay. Got to go here. Got to go there. Okay, I got that ready. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to build of that let's say I just wanted 300 lineups of that configuration. I want 2 unique players. I just want the best lineups out of those. I'm probably going to spend most of my salary, right? To make sure, for those. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about ownership even. I don't care about anything. I'm going to limit 1 running back, wide receiver, tight end from the same team unless it's part of a stack. I'll add some randomness, right? Right? I don't even need to. Do I even need to? No, don't even bother. Right? So here's the stack configuration. Here's what these types of lineups look like. Right? I want 300 of them. And just so I have some primary stack diversity, I'll set the quarterback exposure to 20%. Right? And this will be a 300 build. Right? Do we have anything else? Anything else? Running exposure percent doesn't matter. I'm not using this for that purpose. We don't have any groups, whatever. So I'm just going to run 300. If you got any questions about any of this, just type them in the chat. Well, while you're at it, hit that thumbs up button. Whoa, my thumbs disappeared. Oh, don't do that. Thumbs, let's see. Can I do that again? Can I make the thumbs disappear? No, we don't want to make the thumbs disappear. We want to make the thumbs appear. So give me some thumbs. Helps us out. I don't know how many we have currently. I don't know. I don't count them. Hit the thumbs up button. So this is going to start now. Okay, we're at 10. Okay, this is going to take a while. Not a while. It's going to in a couple of minutes. Just so I want to see what the 300 are. What are the 300 lineups then, what their projection and their ownership is and everything, right? For research purposes. This may not be any of the lineups that I built for Sunday, right? Obviously, projections may change. Ownership will change. So like doing stuff now, I don't know. I mean, you're doing this for research purposes. I will not be building my lineups until Sunday morning. A lot of times, like in the past, I would build it Saturday night, right? But you got to wait for the Schefter tweets. You got to wait for all the information that you could get. But once you've streamlined your process enough, NFL, like I could probably do everything even at 11:30 inactives, 11:30 Eastern when this guy's inactive, that guy's inactive, this injured player is going to play, that type of stuff. But a lot of times I'm building lineups before then. Unless there's some like really, this is the best guy on the slate and he may not play. Like, and it makes that big of a difference. I probably have no problem building lineups. And I'll wake up at 9 a.m. Eastern. Get probably not coffee anymore. Orange juice, apple juice. Get my apple juice. And then put on the shows that we got early in the morning. Okay, we're gonna have like you're gonna wake up Sunday morning. And then we're going to have Grinders Live and tournament stuff and leading up to lock. We're going to have, you wake up and there'll be 3-4 hours of content. You tune into on YouTube here or in the RotoGrinders app. You'll get the audio, right? That's usually how I listen to it, through the RotoGrinders app. I mean, you could listen to this show through the RotoGrinders app. And I build lineups, building my lineups for 1 o'clock lock. Now, if you're on the West Coast, you're getting up even earlier. Okay, we're up to 50 now. Okay, I didn't know how long because I have 3 correlations in there to add 100%. So I'm not giving it any leeway whatsoever. Devin's even in the chat. I run into this problem in MLB, hitting build to 150 with 15 minutes to spare. Hey, 15 minutes is plenty. You can. How many settings do you have in that you can't build 150 MLB lineups in 15 minutes? Now that ain't true. I call BS on that. Oh, okay.
Maybe like seven teams, split between primary, secondary stacks, player groups, individual player groups for teams, separating the highest owned bats to a max of 2, separating high owned SPs, conditional formatting, maybe 70 out of 75 lineups, 75% of lineups.
Why do you have to do all of that? What are you doing?
It's just differentiation. It's research purposes, Blender.
How many settings do you need for that? Aren't a lot of stuff you do maybe redundant?
Well, it could be big slates though. Sometimes there's
but 15 minutes. Lineup you never takes 15 minutes.
No. Not the build will take 15 minutes. Maybe the build takes 5 minutes, but then 10 minutes to pick lineups out of that 150.
Okay. So that's what you're talking about. Oh, yeah. I was talking about. I'm like, you're not doing a very good sales job on the product of like, it takes 15 minutes for Lineup HQ to build lineups.
Understanding. Yeah.
Okay.
Nope. Okay. So user issue, really.
Oh, I got to teach sales techniques to people, right? It was really my misunderstanding. Right? It's like 15 minutes. Don't tell people it takes 15 minutes to build 150 lineups in Lineup HQ. And like I said, it depends on all your settings. Are we going to build 300? Am I going to stop it from now? Let me load this up while this is going. So I'm going to load up the theory of DFS. I don't know what is that. It's just the tool. It's James's tools that are supplied with the course. So I'm gonna open up the portfolio trimmer. I'm gonna put it on another screen. Can I share 2 screens at once? That's gonna be the question. Okay, let's open up Excel. Let's go Excel. I got so much stuff running on my computer. Okay, yes, we get it. You're verifying Excel. I think we're good. Okay, if I crash and burn, I'll be back. But no, okay, we got it. Okay, let's open this. Got Excel up. Let's go. Let's do it. We're up to 110. And I can't do it. Come on. Okay, I gotta close some stuff. Okay, let's see if I close some stuff. Close that, close this. Didn't expect to run into this in the morning. Okay, let's try this again. Still going. We're still wasting time while Lineup HQ is building. So let me open up Excel by itself. I think that may be the issue. Only because I have like 700 tab. I mean, typically when I'm now we got it. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I don't want to open up where we left off. No, now let me open it from here. Open. And I think I could share 2 screens at once, maybe. Let's see. Can I hit the share button? No, I could slot. Okay, I have to stop and switch it. Okay. So let's load this up. Which it's not doing. Okay, maybe I'm not going to be able to show it to you. Okay, so let's stop this at 150. We're okay. That's good enough. Okay, are we getting there? Is Excel doing anything? No, I just have way too much stuff going on. Way too much stuff open at once. I think the last. Okay, no, we got it. Okay, there we go. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, now that's better. I got to close the tweet deck. I got to close everything. Okay. So I'm going to take all these lineups. So now we got these lineups in here. I'm going to delete all the other builds. All right, so I've got 145 lineups in here. Of course, we got Rondell Moore in like all of them because of his projection. The Lions and DeAndre Swift. We got a lot of stuff in here. So let's say like we want to iron down the ones that are like the highest median projected versus their ownership. Okay. So like here, typically, like I've shown on the show, it's like, okay, let's kind of weed out some lineups. Like this is 113 owned. This is 115 owned, right? Based on the current ownership. Obviously, that'll change. So it's like if I had a choice, let's say I'm only trying to choose like 3 lineups in this configuration. Now, once we start adding even more configurations, you could have 1,500, 3,000 lineups. So I'm like, I'd rather have the lower owned lineup by 2 points and it's higher projected. So like, I don't want this lineup underneath it, right? So I'm going to get rid of it. This one's higher owned also, right? I want lineups that are the highest projected for the lowest ownership. Now you could go and manually do that and go compare. I'm going to compare one lineup to the next lineup and get rid of that lineup and then get rid of this lineup. Well, in the theory of DFS, we have a portfolio trimmer. So this is what I'll do. Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to stop my screen. I'm going to share my other screen. Window, portfolio trimmer. Okay, now that's up. Okay, so all you have to do in this is insert, right? You can insert projections. So you clear these projections. And I could go here. I go to this little button. Well, no, not because you're not seeing it on the screen now. But I'm going to download the RotoGrinders projections from Lineup HQ. Then open it up. Right, so I have it open. I just take A to R, copy. I'm going to paste it right here. And there you go. So those are all the projections. Right in there. And then you go to insert lineups, right? Clear the lineups that we have. Format is regular. Okay. Because if it's a showdown, you only need 6 slots and there's a captain. So this works. This portfolio trimmer will work for showdowns as well as classic slates in any sport, right? This is not just NFL. That's why it all says player, player, player. You can do this in NBA. You can do this in MLB. It works for any sport. So then we go to the lineups. So now I'm going to go to Lineup HQ and I'm going to go to the My Lineups page and hit that export button. So I have 144 lineups to export, right? Because we deleted the other one, that one lineup. It's like, oh, this is going to take too long. So I'm going to download, export, and I get all of these. I copy and paste all the rows, all the columns, copy, and I can just paste it in right here. You'll see. Here's all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, we're good. Right, and I load it into Portfolio Manager, and I get all the lineups based on the projections that we have. So you could see it. You could see them here. Let me bring it on my other screen so I could see it better. Right? Let's see. We got it. Good. Just want to make sure it's positioned on the screen well. Okay. So I got the Portfolio Manager. So these are all the lineups from Lineup HQ using all the projections from Lineup HQ. And do I have everything lined up properly? And I'm going to beach ball. So you get I don't know why the price. I must have copied a column in the wrong place, but whatever. Price. Let's see. Insert projections. Salary. It should be salary. No, everything's fine. I don't know. I'm not even using price as part of this anyway. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You could set a projection threshold, right? You could trim by any threshold you want. So it's like it's automatically sorted by projection. You could sort by any column, right? So the floor projection the median projection, the ceiling projection, and the total ownership based on what you've input. Okay? So let's say I look at all these lineups and it's like, well, I don't want to play a lineup that's under 130 projection-wise. So you could just, set the high right here. Right? I don't want a lineup that's owned more than, let's see, some of these high ones over here, 118, 115. Right. Anything over 115, I don't want. Okay, you could do that also. 115. Right. So the high is 500. The low would be 130. Right. So if I want to get rid of those lineups, the lineups that are a little too high owned, a little too low projected, I could just trim based on that. I hit the button for trim, which may be a little bit slow only because of I'm running like the broadcast stuff here. And it gets rid of everything, which is not supposed to happen. Well, this is a very good advertisement. Reload portfolio. Because of this price column. I must have copied and pasted something in the wrong spot. So let's there. Can we get rid of that? Okay. Now the low is 0. I think we're fine. Trim that. Okay. It got rid of the lineups. It should have gotten rid of. Okay. I have no idea what's going on here. This worked yesterday. Right. I must have cut and pasted the column wrong into this. Okay. But you could also use Smart Trim. Smart Trim should work regardless. And there you go. So like that whole thing about like what is the highest projection for the lowest ownership? It'll cut out all those lineups that I normally show. So we had 144 lineups. So I'm comparing projection, median projection to ownership. Anytime you go down in projection, you should also be going down in ownership. So that's what it does. It eliminates all of those. So yeah, that Smart Trim work, right? So it must be something with the price. I don't know. I must have cut and pasted something in the wrong spot. But that worked. The Smart Trim should always work regardless. So then we were down to what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lineups. Right? You look here and you go, okay, out of these lineups, this one's highest owned, right? This one has a low ceiling, right? And maybe you're choosing 3 of them, right? And you go here, like the 3 that I could choose. Maybe I only want, out of my 3 lineups, I only want 1 Kyler Murray lineup, right? Maybe. I'm just saying. Right? So maybe you get rid of this one in the middle. Right? So maybe you get rid of this one. Maybe you get rid of the, you want to have only 1 Patrick Mahomes lineup, so you get rid of the lowest one. But all these lineups, after it recalculates everything, there we go. Maybe these are the 5 lineups that you go if you're playing 5 lineups. It's like based on, obviously, all these lineups have Swift, all these lineups have Lions. Imagine putting in a lot of diverse, different configurations and different everything. You could use Smart Trim like that. But if you wanted to, this will work with thousands of lineups. Obviously, the more lineups you put in, the slower it goes in Excel. But I've personally tested this with 3,000 lineups. And it works fine. So I did it in baseball. So I put in all different. Let me build 305 3 stacks. Let me build 305X. Let me build 304 3s. Let me build 304 2s. Let me build these ones with this pitcher and that, not that pitcher. And I built 3,000. I just kept on exporting, plugging them in. And it gave me all the projections, all the everything. And then I went from there. I'm like, okay, let me sort it out. Okay. What are the lowest projected lineups? What are the highest owned lineups? Let me get rid of those. Right? When we look through how many of these lineups have this guy, how many lineups have this guy, maybe the certain lineups have too low of a floor or too low of a ceiling. Get rid of those. And then I just want to see which lineups have the highest projection for the lowest ownership. And that's what we call Smart Trim. And you can take 3,000. In a test run, I took 3,000 lineups down to 8 in the span of 3 seconds. Right? Ding, 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 ding. Here's the 8 lineups that fit those conditions, just like that. Then maybe, are you playing all 8? Maybe you could play all 8. Maybe you're only playing 1, and it's just for your single entry contest. Okay. You have some bases to choose everything by. It's judging the lineups against each other. So I think the portfolio trimmer is a more efficient way of using it. You need to still use lineup HQ. It's not you have to import projections and lineups into this. But it's much easier than doing that manually in lineup HQ. So let me bring back lineup HQ, share my screen. There it is. So yeah, so you need an optimizer. You need projections. You need some way of putting lineups into the Excel stuff. So it's not like the tools that come with Theory of DFS are not like a replacement. Oh, I don't need to subscribe to RotoGrinders anymore. It's like, well, if you have your own projections and your own optimizer that you built yourself, sure, you could use it. But typically, if you've already done that, you probably have you could probably make these tools yourself. Right? You're probably that good to do that. This is for people that can't make these types of tools. David Calness. If you have any questions with the last couple of minutes of the show, just showing off some stuff. Well, I'll be showing off RotoGrinders tools throughout the entire week, Theory DFS tools the entire week. Obviously, on Thursday, we'll be looking at like Slate IQ for Showdown. Understand what that means. Premium members get that. All this stuff is premium, right? So go get it. I don't know why you're not getting it, right? These are the tools that I use. I'm not pitching this because it's like, oh, I use something different, but buy this stuff because I'm on a RotoGrinders show. Look, this is literally how I literally sometimes show on streams go, I'm building the actual lineups I'm going to play. And I show you. It's like, oh, okay. This ain't complicated. I use this stuff. So get it. RotoGrinders.com/premium. But Calnus is asking if I'm doing stupid Saturdays again. No. I haven't done that in 2 years. I'll be doing stupid Sundays. We still need a name for that show. Maybe we should call it Stupid Sundays then. Okay? Stupid because no one came up with a good name. I don't think anyone came up with a good name. For me and Dean doing that Sunday Spaces at 6:00 at night, where you guys could come on. I mean, it's a Twitter space, so it's like we'll have people on or whatever. It's more of a hangout than anything else, and we could just complain about our lineups being bad. Probably that's probably what ends up happening. Maybe we call that Stupid Sundays. I have no idea. Leo asks, so do you just set ownership caps when you're building these lineups for the diversity of lineups? I would think you want to have a set of individual per quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Yes, you can, right? What I showed today, I'm just building dummy lineups, right? That there's no ownership anything that I could put in because number one, it's Tuesday, so these ownership numbers are not the most accurate. And number two, I have no idea what the hell's going on, right? Like I said, I just found out today Christian Kirk is on the Jaguars. So it's hard for me to make strategic determinations on what players correlate to other players when I'm not even sure what players are on what teams anymore. Okay, so I can't even I can't show that off because I'll be like, well, we're gonna do this to that and cap this and cap that. I just wanted to show that here you can make 300 lineups at a time in any different configuration that you want, in any ownership cap and anything you want to do. Right? And then weed it down from there. Too many people try to I'm not going to build anything until I can get all the rights. I only want 20% of this and 10%. It's like, dude, are your lineups even mathematically possible? Right? Is lineup HQ going to just blow up? You can't do some of those things. And then in order to do some of the things that you want, it requires you to have this 3K garbage wide receiver in your lineup. And then you're wondering why you're getting 68% of them. And you're like, I don't want more than 10% of them. And then next thing you know, you're fighting with the optimizer because you don't understand math. Right? The goal is to figure out the types of lineups that you want to play. And you know how many types of lineups you could play? Hundreds. So why not build all of them? Why not build all of them? Just build them all. Don't get dead set into do you need to have a run back in all your stacks? No. That's not a requirement. The correlation is a boost, but how much is that boost worth? You're willing to sacrifice 7 million points in projection and have a lineup that's 8 trillion% owned for the sake of a run back? No. Of course, that's an absurd exaggeration, but that's kind of the point. So if you're going to just hard code all of your settings in and be like, oh, gotta have this, gotta have that, you're going to miss tons of plus EV lineups. You're going to build lineups that are way better than the ones that you're building. But you could build some. Okay, I'm going to build 300 lineups that all have a run back. I'll build 300 lineups that don't have a run back. I'll build 300 lineups and I'll get rid of the top stacks. So I have not in this build, I have no Murray, no Mahomes, none of that game. What do those lineups look like? Keep on doing that. Feel free to build 300,000 lineups. You could do that in Lineup HQ. Right. Just build 100 different sets of 300 of different configuration if you wanted to. And if you're only playing one lineup, you could still do that. And then read that down with all 300,000 lineups to the one that you want to play. Like that general mindset is much better, especially for people that do not know how to use lineup builders properly. And I would say 99% of users don't. It's much better to build way more lineups than you ever would possibly need. And then figure out the ones from there. You go through them and go, there's no way I'm ever going to play that guy. Then get rid of all the lineups with that guy in it. You have 7,000 lineups to choose from you built, right? So just get rid. I'm not gonna play Joshua Palmer this week. Okay, then just get rid of all those. It's not. You can build a lineup that's plus EV without Joshua Palmer, right? If you don't want, if you whatever, it could be completely not football related. I don't like anyone that has the first name that starts with an S. Okay, then get rid of all those players. That's fine. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Then build a lineup that doesn't have Saquon Barkley in it or whoever. Whoever has an S in it. Steve. Anyone named Steve, I can't play. Like that's fine also. There's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of potentially plus EV lineups. So I'd rather start from a lot and then whittle it down to the best of the best, right? Then start from nothing and then go, I hope my 150, I hope my 3, I hope my 20 are the best that I can make. And then you realize that they aren't because you force something in because you think that's the quote right way. There is no right or wrong way. There's more or less. There's things that help lineups and don't help lineups, but that's all in comparison to the projection and the ownership. Do you double stack? Do you single stack? There's no answer to that question. Those aren't the questions you should be asking. You should a more accurate question would be, does the difference between this specific double stack and this specific single stack have a projection and ownership difference that makes it worth having the extra receiver in there? That's more of the question. Would you rather have a double stack lineup that has a median projection of 94 and an ownership of 700 million, right? I'm just using an exaggeration. Or a lineup that's single stack that has a projection not of 94, but of 7 million and 94 and is owned at 1%. You'd rather have the single stack, right? It's projected for 7 million more points. And you're the only one in the contest that has it because it's only 1% owned. Isn't it the best of both? So who cares? Maybe it's not even a single stack. Maybe it's just a random mesh of people. You'd be like, oh, I can't believe that one, the Millie Maker. It's like, why can't you believe it? The lineup, if you went into any projections, actually projected 7 million more points than any other lineup. And in fact, all of the players in the lineup were 0.001% owned. Why wouldn't you have played that lineup? I don't know why no one else. Oh, because it wasn't a stack. Yeah, but it does make up for a 7 million points in projection. Yeah, the correlation probably isn't worth 7 million, right? And the fact that no one played any of the players in the lineup, it probably is more valuable, right? So that's what you need to weigh it on. So it's not a matter of you got to build these certain configurations. Some are better than others, depending on the lineup, depending on the individual specific 100% lineup. A lineup that has these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players in it versus this lineup that has these specific 9 players in it at this projection and that ownership. There's no such thing as a Marquise Brown lineup. Well, there's still 8 players in that lineup. There are plenty of Marquise Brown lineups that are very plus EV, and there are plenty of Marquise Brown lineups that are ridiculously bad. So you can never say, oh, do you play Marquise Brown? Well, that depends on the lineup. Depends on the contest. Depends on everything else. So that's why do you think I don't even consider what the players' names are until I don't know about it until like I said, it's Tuesday. I just found out Christian Kirk's in the Jaguars. And I just found out Marquise Brown's on the Cardinals. I didn't know that. I was like, okay. So I started looking at these lineups and go, why am I getting all these Cardinals stuff? Why don't I get Christian Kirk? Oh, and then I saw the logo. Oh. Then whoever Jahan Dotson is. Is he a computer simulated player? Is he one of those computer generated people that Madden makes up? I have no idea. Because none of this stuff matters to me, right? Just the numbers. Once you turn players' names into numbers, it doesn't matter. But of course, in a sport that has some amount of correlation, I need to know what players the teams are on, so I could look at a lineup and go, okay, there's the run back, and there's okay, I get it. I get what people were trying to do. I get it. But we'll be going over this stuff. You're gonna be sick of me. It's gonna be all NFL, but we're gonna be doing this for the next 4 months? September, October, November, December, then the playoffs. Right, my thumbs will disappear. Can I get the thumb to disappear again? Give me those thumbs on your way out the door. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here. Hit the notification bell to know when we go live. We got an MLB slate today, right? I think we got MLB today. We got soccer. I'm playing the Champions League opener. If you're playing soccer, we got soccer projections. So sign up for RotoGrinders Premium. Got a big soccer slate at 3 p.m. Eastern that I'll be playing. I got head-to-heads posted. Feel free to take them if you want. That's why the MLB, it's like, is there MLB today? If there is, we got Grinders Live later today. We got Crunch Time, which is free, presented by FanDuel. They'll be dealing with the weather and all the late lineups and everything leading up until lock. We got tons of NFL stuff. We got so much NFL stuff that it's the bang for your buck is ridiculous. You get lineup HQ, you get all of our NFL content. And then obviously the MLB stuff, the NBA stuff, we got everything. Devin's posting the stuff right in the chat. Right? Grinders Live later. Oh, we got live locks, scores and odds stuff. We got the prop show with Britt and Chief Joe. Oh, we got so much stuff. We got content coming out of our ass. So sign up and subscribe. And tune in every morning. Every morning. I'll be here. I don't think I'm taking off. NFL season, I don't typically go on vacation, right? We had a Hawaii vacation 3 years ago that I couldn't reschedule or anything. So I should be here. I should pretty much be here for the rest of time that NFL exists. But normally it would be Mondays through Fridays, 11 o'clock Eastern. Answering your DFS strategy questions like I always do on the DFS pregame show on RotoGrinders.com.